Grady Powell, host of Forged in Fire.
Kyle Mann.
I'm J. Warner Wallace.
Kira Davis.
It's Ben Adams. Hey, this is Dave Baker.
Carrie Pomeroli.
This is Mike Reiner.
This is Ethan Nicole.
This is Leanne Morgan.
This is Graham Parker. This is GP. And this is why you should never.
Never.
How I got suckered in.
I'm so embarrassed that I'm here.
You're wasting your time. You got better things to do. Never listen.
Those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Reverend and the Reprobate. I am Lucas Pinkert, an actual Reverend, and here with me always
Dan Gibson, the Reverend Bait. That's the new name of the show.
is
I'm basically a pastor.
Danley Fwip Gibson.
Yep.
What's up? What's up, big
Not a lot,
flips?
man. What about you? How are you doing? What's up? I don't know. What are you doing?
Well, as we all know, the proper answer to what's up is what's up.
This guy. Oh,
Yeah.
What's up?
So
what's that guy's name?
Ismo.
Ismo.
So we do have a new addition. We got a new intern today, Mr. Camden Hernandez, and we'll be introducing you guys to Camden. Wave at the camera. Tell everybody hi in your donut media hat. We'll be introducing you guys. We'll have a little Meet the Intern segment as our show progresses today. But because of everything that's been going on, we're going to do some updates.
Yeah.
Some personal updates, but nothing starts off a show like recapping what's previously happened on other episodes. So a couple of weeks ago, we interviewed the lovely ladies from Tea Time Crimes, Megan and Alana.
Oh, yeah. That was a lot of fun.
It was a blast. Definitely the most fun I've had doing the podcast in a really long time.
Yep.
Sorry,
And I think
Carl Truman,
I think
Jen
no
Colson,
episode-
and others.
I think no episode has impressed my wife and my mother-in-law
More than
that
Tea Time.
episode.
Well, it's either
They
them or
loved it.
it was Megan and Alana or Leanne Morgan.
Leanne Morgan, they both loved.
Yeah, but
But they're both really into true crime.
But
they
the
like
thing
that.
is like Megan and Alana matched the energy.
Yeah.
Like Leanne Morgan.
It was fun for us.
Yeah, when you have Leanne Morgan on the show, you do what she wants to do. You let her be the star and the highlight. They matched our energy wonderfully. It was an absolute blast. Well, today I went to the post and we got a little gift
a package?
package. Yeah. So I'm gonna hide all of the pertinent information about where people live and all that was put into this, but let's unwrap this here. We got some nice tissue paper.
What is the deal with tissue paper?
This is quite obviously wrapped by a lady because they decided to put tissue paper in it.
Why is
When
why
I
is
sent
that a
Alana
thing?
the package of the coffee that she hated, there was not tissue paper.
Yeah.
Like she almost got straw. Like I was packing
And
dwarfs
also,
in a
look,
barrel
and
to send
also,
him down the river.
Right now, all the women in my life would go, hold on.
Yeah.
We're going to fold these.
Why?
That's what they do.
To save them?
They say, we're going to fold these so we can use it at Christmas.
Well, yeah, well, Christmas is too far away. So we're going to see what's... okay, so first thing in the box, there's a little thing that says Boy Mom, a nice little Boy Mom cap. I'm thinking this is likely not for me.
Yeah.
Kirsten, this is to Kirsten. Thank you for listening, Megan and Alana. All right.
That's very cool.
So they thought of the lovely Mrs. Pinkard. To Danley from TCC, some black powder coffee, crafted, hand roasted, hand selected, one-eyed Jack blend. Why don't you go ahead and read some of the notes that are on that, champ?
Dark and mysterious. Wonderful. The bold flavor will keep you guessing until it's time to refill your coffee mug, which likely won't take long. Sounds great.
So
And they found it on the ground.
And that's this flavor profiles is the ground. And no wonder it's likely a bitter coffee. That's why Alana picked it out for
dark.
you. Yep. But the flavor notes,
She
the
picked it
flavor
out for me
notes are going to keep you
I
guessing.
also am dark, not bitter.
Okay. Here's a little package to Levi. I'm going to open this. I'm curious as to what this is, and it's got pineapples on it. Little golden pineapples.
Yeah, they must like Psych.
Yeah, maybe so. There was a lot of pineapples in the show Psych. Doing a terrible job of opening this package.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yep. What have we here? We got a nice... we got some baby jammies with... complete with a mushroom on them.
Excellent.
So
Man,
for
they're
babies...
so thoughtful.
For the baby's first shrooming experiences, we've got that.
Next one.
And then here's our little onesie. What's it say?
You're taking too long.
What a cutie. Looky there.
QT.
Yes. Emphasis on the T.
So mushrooms and tea.
Mushrooms tea.
Which
here we
both of
go.
Which
I got some black powder coffee as well. from the Sumatra Reserve. Famously smooth, rich, and slightly earthy and baked chocolatey flavor. Nice cedar notes on the finish.
I do know that Alana does not care for chocolatey
Mine
notes.
says WB for whole beans.
Oh.
And yours, they just mixed in with the ground.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Here's something that
I'm not
they got for Heather. So we'll just open this up here. See what it is that they got for Heather. We're going to mind the tape. So that way she doesn't know that we got into it.
Yeah, so are you going to attempt to repackage this and
I'm just going to throw some tape on it. I've seen Heather open gifts.
just use your knife, just slice that tape open. No one will know. Worst case, you can blame it on the post office.
And yeah, no one will know because nobody listens to or watches this.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, nobody will know except for the thousands of... This is so nicely wrapped. What did they get, Heather? I'm never going to be able to put this back. This appears to be a book. While I'm trying to investigate this... Oh, here we go. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate.
That's a girl book for sure.
No, this is the novel about Georgia Tann.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's very cool.
But it is about a girl.
Before We Were Yours. I'm
Girl
going to
book.
give this to Kirsten to rewrap.
There you go. Here's the next one.
Actually,
this is how you
Camden,
open.
your next act
Look,
is
this is how
intern.
you open
Come get
things.
this book and wrap it.
Blessed are the curious.
Yes.
I'm making sure there's nothing inappropriate in here first.
Okay, well, this is how you open it. You're showing me the speed in which you're opening it by double
Unless they are
checking
nibbling
everything.
mushrooms, am I right? Blessed are the curious. This card is handmade by my mother-in-law. Well, thank you very much, mother-in-law of one of the ladies.
Yes.
Thank you for being so supportive and awesome too. Thumbs up, Megan and Alana. You
Thank
guys,
you, ladies.
guys rock.
Yes, thank you so much. I cannot wait.
Thank you for my
Until,
tissue paper for Christmas. I cannot wait to use it.
I
Make it
can't
pretty.
wait to see Levi in his What a Cutie and Kale in his mushroom onesie.
Yeah. And
You think we're gonna
try
squeeze
some one-eyed
your
Jack.
13-year-old into a mushroom onesie?
he's squeezed another.
Yeah,
things.
he's squeezing other things. So, thanks, Megan and Alana, very, very much. That's our first unboxing video that we've ever done.
No, it's not.
It's our first unboxing video that anyone's ever going to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we did years ago when I
We've
got
done
the
other
Earthworm,
things,
the Earthworm Gym stuff. We did an unboxing
But you take
video.
too long. It's like a 45 minute of. Look at this first page. It's golden. Oh man, look at it.
Because that's what you're supposed to do with an unboxing. Don't you watch those? No, same. No, no. Neither one of us. Neither one of us
have.
watch this. So on today's show, we're going to do some updates. We're going to make a little bit of the internet angry as we talk about a few
Ooh,
things.
I've got a great way to start that.
Okay, fantastic. Well, do you want to start with make the internet angry, or do you want to start with some updates?
Let's go into angry. Let's
Okay.
go into straight into
Yeah,
anger.
go for it. Let's go ahead.
What was your thing?
No, you said you
Okay,
had something for
my
it.
thing is a question that I have. Are white guys ever going to be able to go into the woods, chant, and play with fire without immediately conjuring
Thank
KKK
you.
vibes?
No.
Why
No, like
not? What if you
youth
like
group-
fire in the woods?
The youth group sing along is no longer allowed.
That is so sad, though.
Also,
that's
have
another
you
thing
seen,
that racism has claimed
Have
from
you
us.
seen the what's it called?
UFC fights?
Okay, no. So I saw it on TikTok because I'm on TikTok now.
Told you, it's great.
So I saw it. It's terrible. It's a cesspool.
You get, and you have to come to terms with the fact that it's the Chinese government,
Right.
To
So,
some- they
but
kinda
we have a
fixed it, but-
TikTok account, and that's why I use it is to update our TikTok account. So what I found, Camden, that is so loud.
We can hear your cookies.
I so appreciate your efforting to rewrap the book, but man, so what we discovered on TikTok is you know those little emulator consoles, right? They're like the
Yeah,
Super Nintendo
Sega.
emulator console, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
all of those, like Nintendo released their own, regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega did their own. Now there's like the one you can get at the convenience store, which has like 700 games on it, and it's got all like the foreign games and things like that. Do you remember Super Mario 2?
What are some of the updates from that? Was that the one with the little tail where he can
No, that was Super Mario 3, where you could be Tanuki Mario.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay,
So,
no,
Super
not
Mario
really.
Super Mario 2 was the one that was really weird. You had to pick your character at the beginning. You could be Toad or the princess or Luigi. And
Who's ever Toad?
And then you had to like grab the radishes and throw the radishes.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
odd. Well, there's a TikToker who got one of
we're
these
doing TikTok videos
one of
now,
these
huh?
consoles, right? And it's the Super Nintendo console. And on the Super Nintendo console, there is a game called Black Man 2.
Oh no.
And Black Man 2 is all it is Super Mario Brothers 2. And it loads up the Super Mario Brothers 2 screen. It says Norway on it, right? But all of the characters are black. So Toad is black, Peach is black, Mario and Luigi. And as soon as you go to pick your character, instead of saying like what the name of the character is, it literally on the screen says Kill Whitey. And then, like, in the background, instead of bushes, there's burning crosses. And then you have to throw stuff at KKK members that run across the screen.
I did not know that
It's
existed.
the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Now, I don't know, because people are commenting and saying, like, oh, this isn't real. And who knows whether or not it is. But it is one of the most bizarre renditions of Super Mario Brothers that I've ever seen. And the claim is...
It's even weirder than the radishes one.
Yeah, well, it is the radishes one, just remade in this new motif, which is very...
So what studio put this out? is my
I don't
question.
know.
Okay.
I think that this is probably something that, like,
It's not real.
well, or, because you get these bootlegged game mods, right? And it's got,
it's a game mod.
It's got 1,500 games on it. So, yeah, you can imagine that somebody somewhere along the way was like, I can edit like 5 lines of code in this game and make it an hilarious Easter egg for whoever finds this. And lo and behold, somebody on TikTok did and was putting it out there.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the
Black Man 2.
selection Black Man 2, and on the selection screen, it literally, instead of giving you the character's name, it just says Kill Whitey. That's it.
Huh.
We'll put some of the videos and stuff from that up there because it's really kind of comical. But in other Mario
What happens
news,
in Black Man 1?
I don't know. I didn't go so far as to check it out.
So other Mario news.
Yeah, other Mario
Trailer.
news. We got Chris Pratt's new Super Mario Brothers movie that's coming out. Him along with Jack Black. And I do have to say, in defense of Chris Pratt, one, we didn't get a very good sampling of his voice. I know the internet's crazy about like, oh, he doesn't sound Italian. He's
I
not
still
Italian.
haven't seen it.
And the second thing is everybody's talking about how great Jack Black's Bowser is. You can't, in my estimation, complain that Chris Pratt sounds too much like Chris Pratt and that Jack Black does not sound exactly like Jack Black, just trying to make his voice sound
Is
gravelly.
it just that he's earned so much goodwill
Jack
just
Black?
for being so
No,
funny
what
for
it
so
is,
long?
What it is that everybody just hates that it's not the guy that voiced Mario for the video games that's playing it.
Yeah.
on
Is
the
he even
thing.
still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the other Mario news. Now there is a guy who is learning how to. We've reached out to him. He's learning how to create video games. Mm-hmm. He's done graphic arts, but he's never done video games. And so what he's doing is he's recreating the original Mario Brothers in a 3D platform with Chris Pratt as Mario. And you can go and you can check out his YouTube channel, and he shows you some of the playthroughs as he's building the levels. Now, he hasn't released the game to be played yet, but he says he will at some point. It'll be free to play online. But he is going through level by level and recreating the original Super Mario Brothers with Chris Pratt as Mario in a 3D world.
I remember
It's
seeing that.
crazy.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Do you have anything else you want to make the internet angry about?
There's a lot, but I probably shouldn't.
How do you feel about the Rings of Power?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
I gotta say, there's a lot of negativity about it, and I think there's some arguments there that are valid, but
It's way better than the Hobbit movies.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. I'm happy.
Yeah. Now you do have obvious complaints that it changed some things canonically.
Yeah, there's definitely timeline shifts. There's some things that we know that Sauron, and spoiler alerts, I guess, which I won't go into all of it.
No,
But there's some things
you've had
we
time.
know.
Watch it.
Yeah, there's some things we know that happen that they changed. I can forgive that. It's a
Sure.
it's a different medium. You're not
Right.
reading a book and the Silmarillion is super long.
Right. But it's not. I don't think this is nearly as egregious as the things that were changed in the Hobbit movies. Like, not even close.
Yeah. Again, there's. I think overall, what I think of this is it's really, really, really good and fun fan fiction.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it. That it is. It's really fun fan fiction.
And great.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah, I've had a ton of fun
Is it
watching
perfect?
it.
No.
It's something that my wife has looked forward to watching, which to me has been really cool.
Yeah.
Because it was really hard, and we talked about this before, to introduce her to the world of Lord of the Rings, because we started with the Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff to get through. It's not fast. It's a trudge for that first hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. My wife has this mental block that if we are watching
And
a
she's
series,
bitter too, right?
Huh?
And she's bitter too, right?
Oh yeah, a little bitter.
Last
but
episode.
yeah, thanks. You're welcome, Megan Alana. But she has this like mental block where if we're gonna watch a series, she can sit down and watch 20 hours of a bad CW show or Once Upon a Time or The Flash or something like that.
I can watch House over and over again.
Okay, but that's not a bad show. What I'm saying is she can watch these really slow, poorly made shows. But
It's just one you can turn your brain off while you're watching.
But to get an hour into a slow movie like Lord of the Rings, it's just like, oh, I'm so bored. It's worse than watching movies with you.
Go watch Gossip Girl.
Because
then.
instead
What are you talking about?
instead of falling asleep,
or pausing.
there's legitimate complaints
Yeah.
that happen about it. But I don't understand. I don't understand that. However, so we get through all that mental block. Now she loves Lord of the Rings and has really looked forward to this show. And I got to say, with the cliffhangers and stuff that it ended on, super cool. The way that they did the big reveal, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. Though I know it's probably a year or more away.
What are some big predictions you think? So first off,
Yes.
let's start with the stranger, the man,
Okay,
the
yeah,
comet
yeah.
man that we don't really know. There's definitely some Easter eggs.
Right.
Who do you think he is?
That no doubt that's Gandalf.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think it could be Saruman. Still, he's supposed to be the first Ishtari. I didn't pronounce that right. That comes. Gandalf. It's now none of them are supposed to be here in this age, except for maybe the Blue Wizards, which are 2 of the 5.
Yep, 2 of the 5.
And we don't know anything about them, so he could still be one of them, and he meets up with the other one. I don't know. He's definitely looking like Gandalf. I agree.
Yeah.
But they could just be some Easter eggs they tossed in. The follow your nose little bit of, you when in doubt, follow your nose, which is definitely a reference to Fellowship. Mm-hmm. Going through the mines of Moria, where he said this smells less foul over here.
Right.
I would buy him as Gandalf. It's one of those things that Super Mario's too. Please kill Whitey.
I'm telling you,
Is this episode gonna get flagged? No, you can say that.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
But this is it. This is Black Man 2.
How bizarre.
Look at the little KKK guys and the burning crosses. Like, you can tell that it's like a mod over, because whenever they die, some of them change.
Yeah.
Look at this. Yep.
In other news,
Anyway, so
what else?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I think we do have the reveal that Halbrand is Sauron. I think that's just who he is.
Yeah.
He's already gone to Mordor. The elves are going to create the rings to help the dwarves, and then the men.
To help pay them back for the
mithril.
For the mithril that they didn't give them.
Right. That's how I think that's how they'll make that right. And I think that the men will get it from, there's not a lot of clarity on whether or not the elves made the rings for and that was one of the big things that people talked about, is that the rings of power for the elves were supposed to take like 90 years to make, and they took like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
That's just better for the show.
Yeah. Those are those changes that I'm fine with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other ones.
Yeah, I don't need to wait 90
It's
years
mainly the timelines
for that
of
to
when
happen.
things we know happen that didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I think this is really good fan fiction.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I know it sounds like it's a backhanded compliment. Maybe it is a little bit, but
So have you listened to or kept up with what's going on with our friends, the Tatooine Sons, because of this?
Yeah.
Like
Why are you
have?
setting me up for?
No, I'm just asking.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I followed their posts and stuff
Right.
where they are talking about
They
all
talked
the negative
about
attention that
they
the
talked
Rings of
about
Power
on
got.
one of their episodes that they got doxxed because of their stuff for Rings of Power, and the dad got a heads up.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and got to. I mean, like he found out about it and took it down. And I wouldn't mention it except for they mentioned it on their episode. Just unbelievable that like somebody thinks your Rings of Power sports opinions are so hot that they're going to do that. As just
That's childish.
yeah, that's absolutely insane. Camden, what are your thoughts? Have you watched Rings of Power, Camden?
No, I don't know anything about this.
Do you know anything about Lord of the Rings?
No.
How's your new Eclipse?
Amazing.
Okay, great. Camden's just now able to drive, and he got what is it, a
1997 Mitsubishi Eclipse.
a 1997 Eclipse. That car is 1 year older than my wife. How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
Do you like coffee?
Thanks for your input.
Not necessarily.
Oh, that's so sad. So,
Rings of Power.
our next
he doesn't know
topic of but for us
We're gonna have to revisit that.
Yeah. So, how many out of 10 rings? How many rings do you give the Rings of Power?
7.
You give it a 7.
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
I think with the potential to increase.
Yeah.
It's the first season.
As long as it builds, right?
Yeah.
It's got
It was a
something
lot
to
of
build
fun.
towards.
I enjoyed it. I'm going 7.
Yeah. All right. 7 seems like a fair number. The next thing I wanted to ask you about, as it relates to making the internet angry, is
got a lot of
about
stuff.
a young man who, on let's say November the 21st of 2021, Mr. Darrel Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
Ran his car through a Christmas parade. We've been watching this saga over really the last month kind of play itself out. Talk to me about like what at this point, because today he was convicted, guilty of all charges.
Which is a shocker to everybody.
Yeah, not really. But what has been shocking in this trial is the behavior of the judge.
The judge has been, so to set this up,
Yeah.
I have only consumed bits and pieces of the trial through TikTok.
Right, yeah. So you're getting like 1 minute to 3 minute long
I'm
versions
getting
of
the
the
hits,
trial.
and the hits are him acting like a fool,
yes.
accusing the judge of all kinds of things, of not letting him talk, not agreeing to things that are going on that he had submitted. He had just a lot of accusations towards the judge and the court.
Yeah.
He's a sovereign citizen.
Oh my gosh.
Which this is kind of what they do. That they don't identify. I'm not gonna be able to really argue their point because I don't fully understand it.
I think what this trial has proven is that they can't really argue their point.
Yeah. Well, it's based on a conspiracy, so it's already you're going into logic, arguing a conspiracy in court.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't see themselves as citizens of the United States. They see them as I'm a human. I don't see myself saying
I'm a citizen of no country.
as Darrel Brooks. I'm my own person that is here.
Uh-huh.
They don't see the government as legitimate. They believe. I believe that the government was hijacked a while ago, and the only courts they recognize are the naval courts. I'm trying to remember what they call
the
them.
maritime
The
courts.
maritime courts.
Yeah.
So they always ask, "Is this a maritime court?" And they go, "No, you idiot! Like we're here.
Yeah.
We're here in a building on land, not having nothing to do with the
Wasn't
sea."
that like a running joke in Arrested Development? Was maritime law?
Yeah. That may have been
Yeah.
a sovereign citizen
Jab?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
But yeah, he's been all kinds of crazy.
Yeah, and
back
all
to
of
her.
that. Yeah, all of that to say, the judge's conduct has been unbelievably patient.
Yeah, patient, understanding, way beyond what I would expect. Every time I'm hearing him just lay into her,
Yeah.
and she's redirecting him, saying, "No, you need to stop. I'm going to have you removed." I would have had that fool because we've seen videos
Yeah.
of judges that have ordered bound, and which I don't think that's a great option. But
No.
but oh man, if anyone deserved it, it's this guy.
So what I found so interesting about this is that when and the wisdom of this judge, I think, is incredible, because if this makes it to some type of appeal, right? We've all seen the case, but when they review the footage, when they review what the court record says, they're going to be able to see that she gave him every opportunity to properly defend himself, to define whatever titles he needed. I mean, and how just utterly, I'm trying to pick the right words, but just utterly idiotic is it to drop your counsel in the midst of a case like this and then claim, hey, you know what? I don't understand. I don't know what this means. I can't do that. Well, yeah, of course you don't, because you don't have the legal training to do it. And you waived your right. And then at one point he was trying to argue that, no, I didn't waive my right. Y'all took my letter and you didn't let me, whatever. And it's been insane. The good news about all of it is there will be justice for those families. I think the most heartbreaking part of all of this is that the
Can you
attention
imagine being a dad.
Okay, so this is the
watching
thing,
him
right? Like, this is the thing. The most heartbreaking part of all of it to me is that he was, now this whole thing is no longer about whether or not the victims from that day got any kind of justice. I mean, the guy ran a car through a marching band, through a high school marching band, right? Like, kids were killed because of this. But the headline is going to be about his behavior in court, and it's not going to be about the justice for the families. That's not what people are going to be talking about whenever they look back at this case as to whether or not there was justice for the families. It's all going to be about his behavior in court and the patience of the judge. And get credit where credit is due. She was absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, the DA called her out and said, I would have been much harder on him, but I really do, at the heart of what she did, I really do believe that it was if I handle this properly, the opportunity for an appeal is going to be taken away.
Yeah.
And, or at least for a reasonable appeal is going to be taken away. And that's exactly what I think she did. I think she handled it beautifully. I think she really was, even in the midst of continually showing him grace, she was doing a great job of protecting the integrity of the institution of those courts, to make sure that there truly was a fair trial that was presented before her, and just phenomenal job. I'm incredibly impressed with how that was handled.
What's her name?
That's where's our Googler?
Oh yeah, we got.
We come in, we hire these interns without pay to come in here.
You look up Judge Darrel Brooks.
I'm sure if you look up Judge Darrel Brooks, that there's going to be some judge that is Darrel Brooks.
Nope. Not right now. Right now there won't be. Right now. I'm going to beat you.
Judge Darrel Brooks.
Darrel Brooks.
Jennifer.
There you go.
Doro.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Duro. Anyway, she's an incredible judge. She's done a great job.
Yeah.
Through all of this.
Camden, what do you like doing in your spare time?
No, we're not going to get there. We're not doing Interview the Intern yet. So we're shifting from Make the Internet Angry to some personal updates. Levi's home.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about anything. That's why we got these lovely garments from the ladies at Tea Time Crimes. Levi's home, we are now experiencing what so many of the NICU parents told us was that like week 2 of having your kid home, you're gonna want to call the nurses and be like, hey, what's your hourly rate to come and to feed our kid at 3 a.m.?
Yep.
It's bizarre. And I'm wondering, like, I know that there's a normal amount of exhaustion that parents deal with, right? You've been through this. You had a child a decade.
Yeah, we went through that without
ago.
the NICU part. Just
right. So I'm wondering, like, how much of what we're dealing with is the normal, and how much of it is like built like compound exhaustion. Like we've been exhausted because of all the stuff at the NICU. Now we've gotten to the point where he's finally home, and now he is home, and now we have all this like residual fatigue that we've already been dealing with because between his NICU visit or his NICU stay and Kirsten's time in the hospital, we were just over 2 months in hospitals. So that it's hard for me to like put my finger on it and be like, no, this is all because of this. I'm wondering how much of it is residual fatigue. But I got to say, in week 3 of having him home, we're finally starting to recover a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm not quite qualified to say that other than personal experience.
Right.
And our experience was we were told, hey, when you give birth, the nurses are going to want to take the baby.
Right.
Go ahead and let them.
Yeah, because you guys spent a couple of days in the hospital after Heather gave birth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for the first day, they took him.
Right.
And then we were discharged pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But especially in this case, she had literally just given birth.
Right.
Whereas you guys, not you, but Kirsten may have had a little more time to heal. I don't know if that's a thing.
I mean, I don't know.
But the emotional wear and tear of being away from him, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been.
I think you're not alone.
It's been wild. Yeah,
with having a new infant at home.
So there's this Facebook group that is made up of NICU parents, and so we're seeing, when we were there was a poor little kid that was born just a few hours before Levi, and I guess like 2 weeks into our 50-something days that we were there, he ended up with a punctured lung. And so they had to take him, and I think he had to go to Children's Medical to have surgery, if I remember correctly. There was a baby right before we left that was born at like 23 weeks and was less than 2 pounds that was over there. There was a family that left while we were there that their child had been born around that same time, 22, 23, 24 weeks, somewhere in there. Their little kiddo was less than 2 pounds, and they spent, I want to say something just absolutely insane. Like they'd been in the NICU for like 20-something weeks, just because the kid just had to grow. There was so much of it. When we give Levi a bottle now, he takes like 2.5 ounces of food, which is pretty normal for a kid that's 3 weeks old, right? And so, when you do the adjusted age, when he first got out of, or was first put into the NICU, it was 5 milliliters is what he was getting during his feedings. Now for frame of reference, like an ounce is 30 milliliters, right? So he's getting 1/6 of an ounce of food that has to be like slowly given to him with a syringe through his feeding tube. This kid that was at 24 weeks was given
He's hungry, huh?
0.5 milliliter.
Yeah.
Is all they were able to get.
I thought you meant him now.
No, they could only give this little kid 0.5 milliliter because of how tiny they are, and you don't want to overfeed them, and you can do a lot of stuff. So it was absolutely bizarre. But now getting to be a part of this Facebook group and getting to keep up with the parents and seeing some of the updates and some of these kids, and what's so fun about it is that there are the kids that were in there around the same time as Levi that we're seeing now that have gone home, but there's also these like 13-year-olds that their pictures are popping up, and they're like, hey, we were in the NICU at the hospital, at this hospital, and so this is what our 13-year-old looks like, and they're doing well, and the nurses are keeping up with them, and some of the nurses have been here that entire time, that's been really cool to be a part of, and really encouraging.
Some victory success stories.
Yeah, getting to see some of that. And some of these kids, I think the stigma was whenever we were growing up that a NICU baby was always going to be small. Yeah. Like they were going to be small, they were going to be bad at sports, they were going to be underdeveloped because like their lungs weren't developed and all that stuff, that they weren't going to be able to, like play in the marching band and all that because, they were a preemie baby. And so that's what was going to happen. Some of these kids that are on this Facebook page are mastodons. They're absolutely enormous. And it's so cool to see the difference from like when we were growing up and the sort of stereotypes around that and how much they've changed. And we do want to say thanks to everybody for all your prayers and your messages that you've sent us over the last several weeks and months. As many of y'all know, everything that's been going on with Levi, and just what a blessing it's been to Kirsten and I. We're so thankful that he's home, and we'll hopefully, I think we've kind of got it on the books that we're going to bring her up here at some point and let her give a little bit of her side of the story, how things have gone, and then and maybe we'll interview both of our kids. I got a feeling yours will be better at answering questions, but mine might be better at passing gas right now.
Yeah, I know mine's pretty good at that.
Okay, also, did you guys ever use a thing called a Windy?
No, what's that? What's a Windy? Precious.
Okay, all right. So they got all these weird things that they make you take home with the kid.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like the bulb. You get the bulb, and any parent is familiar with the bulb. It's the blue bulb.
Yeah.
And you squeeze it and you use it to suck stuff out of their nose or out of their mouth or whatever, right? Well,
that's
now
not the preferred way. The preferred way is just put your mouth over their nose and suck using your own mouth.
So, now they have the hose, right, where you can put the hose in the kid's thing, and then you can suck it, and it's supposed to have the filter in it. Yeah, no.
That's worse.
Yeah, not a fan. So now they have this thing called a Windy.
It's the grossest slushy ever.
So a Windy is a tube that's about this long, right? And you put a little bit of aquifer on it, and when the baby is having trouble, you just whoop.
Enema.
And no, it's not an enema because you don't put anything in. You just open up the baby's little bottom just a little bit with this Windy, and it is enough to where if there's gas, they pass it out.
You never thought of manually doing that?
And
I've always done working the legs and patting and moving them a little bit.
Yeah, like rub the stomach. You're supposed to rub the stomach.
You just
clockwise.
go right for the gate and open it.
And then you go and you do that, and it doesn't let any liquid out. Right, it's just the wind because it's the Windy. But like immediately after, there's the wind, and then there's a pause, and then there's anything else that was in there that was waiting behind this bubble.
Yeah. So what we're saying is,
it's an effective tool.
If you're going to use a Windy, duck and cover after.
If you're using a Windy, always, and this is something I found out universally with my son, is I have to have a backup diaper ready at all times.
Yeah.
Because we've been trading shifts, and so I've been taking like the overnight shift because that's kind of my circadian rhythms are like that, right? They're like between 11 o'clock and 3 a.m. since I was really little. Like those have been my quote unquote like
that's your jam.
My witching hours, right? Same for my son, which is just terrible. Like genetics are the worst thing ever. So during this time, what we're finding is he's way up. And so I've just been like, all right, let Kirsten sleep. I'll stay up with him.
Unfortunately, you're rewarding that behavior.
Time. So I'm just taking care of him in the other room so that she can sleep.
And he's
so
young enough that you're going to have to take care of him anyway.
Yeah, so anyway.
But getting to hang out with Dad while he plays video games is definitely a positive reinforcement.
So what's happened
is
like
the hours of 11
I've got
to 3 a.m.
I've got this little portable table that I'll set up in the living room so that I can do work and stuff while Kay watches, TV or whatever, so that we can just be together. And, I've got like an earbud in and I'm editing, stuff for our show or whatever. And then, half watching Once Upon a Time or whatever dumb stuff she's got on the television. Creek. No, we're not Dawson's Creek. We're not
Felicity.
Riverdale. Ally McBeal. Yeah, all that stuff. You're welcome, Reiner. So anyway, we got this table. And so I kind of had it cleared off and I was changing him on the table.
Yeah.
And
you got to get a new table, don't you?
Bro, so I thought he was too tired, right? The first time I changed him on this table and everything went fine. And so the second time I was like, you know what? And he's looking pretty sleepy again. So I'm just going to take my sweet time, right? And bad move. He fountained.
Bad move.
He fountained at my face, right? So I dodge and on his face. On his clothes, all over my cell phone, the pillows on the couch, and I found out as I, got him all done. I was like, all right, well, I got to wipe all this stuff off.
I'm really trying not just go like, yep.
I'm walking in socks, and on the floor also. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've had to. I told you the story when Heather was having dental surgery, and we were in the mall. There was a dentist in the mall. I wasn't.
Yeah.
And
you hold on. You went to a mall dentist?
Yeah.
It's like
or dental surgery.
GameStop, Spencer's, the dentist.
Yeah, it was great for me. It's like drop the wife off.
Right.
I can go.
You can go to Hot Topic while your wife gets a root canal.
I got the kid. Hey, we'll be fine, right?
You get new trucks from Gadzooks, and she's getting crowns
So
put
he
on.
explodes, right? He just explodes in his little onesie. It's done. I open it. It's pouring out. I was like, okay, wow. All right.
Yeah.
I don't have a backup, so we went to what was the one Oshkosh?
Yeah, Oshkosh
Went to
Bagosh.
Oshkosh. Got just a gorgeous little outfit for $150. And then when picked up mom, he was in a new outfit. It was great, except that it was really expensive.
Yeah,
But I hear
no
ya.
kidding. Yeah,
That's a thing.
Yep.
Always having a backup diaper. Yep.
A change of clothes for
Peeing on their
for
own face.
the kid.
Yep, happens.
A change
Peeing
of
on
clothes for the
you.
kid. What I didn't anticipate was that I would also need a change of clothes
Yeah,
every time.
it's probably one in. I remember
out.
it being like 1 in 10, at least in like the beginning.
Yeah.
Before they got a little better at it.
Yep.
But yeah, it was
Well,
just.
they got
constant.
better at it.
'Cause-
Like
well,
they got
'cause-
better
well,
with
'cause
their
they get-
aim. Like what are they
Well,
getting
no,
better at?
Because you open up the diaper. This is what I always thought. You open up the diaper and like cold air rushes and they.
They just
and
like
they-
freak out.
Yeah, and they just.
That's why you got to use the windy.
Yeah, I'm talking about the little hose on the front end.
So my the aforementioned Mimi and Poppy who were present when I got out of the shower with my wife. Yeah, they gave us these things called teepees, and they're these little like tents that you take and you just put over the baby so that he doesn't pee straight up in the air, right? And I was like, okay, that's a great idea. Two things about the teepees. One, right, very difficult to keep in
It doesn't
place.
stop the stream; it just redirects it.
Well, it would just go up into the top of the teepee and then hit it, and you're done. You're fine. Because it's just like a little cone.
Yeah.
It's like a little felt cone. So one, they're very difficult to keep in place, and two, your theory about the cold air might be accurate because as soon as you take the teepee off, like it's just like, all right, it hasn't happened. TP comes off.
Just get a little brisk breeze, and he goes, "Oh
Yep.
yeah, I gotta
And then
pee."
you just hold the other diaper.
How many
over
times
there,
are
and
we
you're like,
outside
well,
and you're
here
like,
we go.
"Ah, I'm gonna go pee on that bush over there"?
Never happens.
Okay.
Well, now before we adjourn
This is full circle
this
back
very
into the woods
riveting
talk.
episode of the Reverend and the Reprobate, it's time for our favorite game show. It's called Meet the Intern. Daniel, you ready for this?
Yeah.
And today's segment of Controlled Rowdiness is going to be Meet the Intern featuring Camden
Donut Jackson Hernandez.
Hernandez.
I think you threw a bit too much R in there.
Camden,
Well, I just need you to know that I can roll my R's.
who's your celebrity crush?
I don't know.
Okay, next question.
What do you do in your spare time?
Depends on what I'm feeling. I play video games.
What
Watch-
game are you into right now?
Call of Duty, I guess.
Which one?
The new one?
Is it Modern Warfare?
Do.
Yeah. I haven't gotten it because it's like $70. and
Oh,
I-
yeah.
I don't got that type of money.
Well, that's why you got
What
this
you need to
internship.
do, yeah, is get you a job
So-
and then get Kale to go pick it up and bring it to you.
He's a bad actor, though. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. What sports do you like? You like watching?
I like watching football.
What would be the worst superpower to give you if you were a supervillain?
For a super villain,
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you list off some? What are the superpowers that come to your mind right now?
Well, there's like the obvious one: super strength,
Right.
ability to fly,
Yeah.
invisibility,
Invisibility, yeah.
speed,
Right.
super strength.
Yeah. You doubled up on super strength.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
So which of those that you just named would make you the most powerful supervillain, or would you get most use out of if you were a supervillain?
Yeah. Which power would be a bad idea to give you as a supervillain?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which power are you
I was
going to use
thinking
all
about
the
it
time
differently.
for awesome
Yeah.
things?
Yeah. Which of those would you use for good or for awesome?
Probably strength.
Strength. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
What's the worst smelling place you've ever been?
That's such a great question.
The worst smelling place.
Yeah,
I've
what's the
ever
worst
been?
smelling place you've ever been?
I want to steal this one if you.
Sure.
No, it's
No, you answer first.
yeah.
and then I'll-
You answer. Yeah.
Mine is always my bedroom,
Okay, great.
wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
New house, it's in the bedroom.
Yep.
The worst smelling place.
That you've ever been.
That is the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
You
city?
can keep repeating it, but it's not going to change.
Darn.
Uh huh.
Probably like Like a daycare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
can be pretty bad. They can also smell like Lysol.
They
they're
a
doing
lot
their
of times
job.
they do smell like Lysol.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's the worst Avenger?
Hawkeye.
Are you any good at accents?
That's subjective.
Okay. What's your best accent?
I guess British. Is
Okay.
The easiest.
So tell me something in British.
Oh, dang it.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
That's a good
Not
start.
bad. Not bad, you donut.
Yeah, not bad. Pop it.
Pulpit.
You keep going.
Okay. What ridiculous thing has someone tricked you into doing or believing?
We came up with so many questions. I'm just reading through.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the worst thing someone has tricked you into
What's
believing?
the most ridiculous thing someone has tricked you into doing or believing?
That my dad was an astronaut.
Okay.
And
You have my attention.
Did your dad trick you into believing he was an astronaut?
Yes. He went very in depth with it.
Yeah?
He had a picture on his phone of him in an astronaut suit.
No way. When did you, at what age did you find out your dad wasn't really an astronaut?
Probably like 11. I believed this for a long time.
What launch did he say he was a part of?
Yeah.
He didn't.
I mean, that's smart. That's the
he
best
just
way
said,
to do
I've
it.
been to the moon. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sounds about right.
Wow. That kind of reminds me of Scott did something similar to that.
Oh, all the time, I'm sure.
Right. So my sister was sent to the principal's office because she was fighting with with her kindergarten teacher, because she was convinced that you spelled daddy Hero because that's what my dad told her. And so
That's good.
So
dad
she gets
stuff.
into trouble. Well, the principal laughs it off because my youngest brother, the one right above her chronologically, got into trouble because he was telling stories about my dad when my dad was a pirate. and the teacher was like, your dad was not a pirate. And my brother was like, my dad was a pirate in the Philippines, and that's why we had to live in Hawaii, was because we had to hide from all of the pirates that were in the Atlantic Ocean that were looking for him. And the geography of the whole story is so convoluted and messed up that we went from the Philippines. Dad was a pirate in the Atlantic. Then he was a pirate in the Philippines. So we moved to Hawaii to try and lay low. And then we moved to Texas. My brother, obviously he's like 5, buys everything hook, line, and sinker, and gets into an argument with his teacher, gets the principal called. The principal calls my mom, and my mom says, I'll deal with this. Calls dad and nearly, he nearly falls off a telephone pole that he's at the top of because he's dying laughing. Next year, the same call because my sister refuses to believe that you don't spell dad Hero.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that Camden thought his dad was an astronaut.
And if you were Asian, what country would you be from?
Probably Japan. They got cool cars.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's the dumbest way you've ever been injured?
Ooh. So this was like 4th or 5th grade, and there was like a, I guess like a sewer cover thing that was,
where the Ninja Turtles live.
It was like 2 feet higher than all the ground above it or below it. So people would like jump off of it, and I jumped, tripped, and then fell in a fire ant mound.
So what was the injury? Just like the tons of fire ant bites?
Yeah, and I'm allergic to fire ant bites.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So did you have to get a shot?
No, it just hurt real bad.
Yeah. My dad has the same thing.
He goes skateboarding near fire ants a lot?
No, when he gets bit by a fire ant, like it's.
Oh yeah, it's really
yeah.
like anaphylactic.
Where I go like it's done over.
You're very prissy about your fire ant bites.
I'll give it a little kiss. Are you aware yet that George Lucas ruined your childhood?
No.
You haven't come to these terms yet? Mm-mm. Okay.
You're not a Star Wars, are you, Camden?
Am I a Star Wars?
Yeah, you're not a Star Wars.
Are you a Star Wars?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. What's the most useless talent you have?
I can solve Rubik's Cubes pretty fast.
How fast?
My best time is 11 seconds.
What?
That's pretty good.
You
Like
didn't know
legit? No. No, that's why I said, what? With
Is
such
it-
awe and amazement.
Is there a certain combination that just always solves it, no matter where you go?
that? No.
Okay. Because we have another friend that can do that, Kyle, he's stuck in the bathroom today.
Still 3 years of bathroom issues, Kyle.
Well, he could do that too.
He was our first intern. So, okay. There's not like a trick. You don't like go like 2 up and like 1 across or something like that every time.
No.
So how do you?
Well, there's
11 seconds?
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to test that out.
Yeah.
But that was pretty lucky though. It was a really lucky scramble. So
Do you prefer your president in a pantsuit or tracksuit? Or suit?
suit, I guess.
What's the worst purchase you've ever made?
Ooh.
In 1997.
No, that is the best purchase.
Really, it's probably the fuse that he found out he needed to replace in order to get the sunroof working. That's got to be one of the best purchases. But no, seriously, what's the best purchase you ever make?
I bought an alternator for my car, only to find out that the alternator wasn't bad. It just wasn't plugged in.
That's good.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good.
I was able to return it though. So that's
Okay, yeah, that is. They refund your core fee. Yeah, nice. What would you name a boat? What would you name your boat if you had one?
What am I?
Yeah, you got to name your boat. This is your boat.
Eclipse.
It's terrible.
The SS Eclipse.
That's terrible. What is the theme song for your life? Like, what's your walkout music?
Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears.
Really?
I like that song.
Speaking of, have you heard the new?
That's a pretty intimidating walkout song.
Have you
too.
heard the new Queen song?
Yeah,
I didn't know
just
Queen.
heard it.
Yeah, so Queen just released on October the 13th. They released a new single for the first time in 30-something years. And Queen's my favorite band of all time just because of the musicianship and the versatility of the musicians. So it is a track that was recorded by the living members of Queen, and the vocals were from a vocal session in 1988 that Freddie Mercury did. So it's Freddie Mercury on a new Queen song, and it is, it's eerie. That's the best way to put it. Is the song is absolutely eerie and heartbreaking. So, Camden, what do you know about Queen?
I know they have a lot of popular songs. Freddie Mercury was in it, obviously, and he was a very, very good vocalist.
Yes.
Because of his big teeth.
Where are they from?
Hold on. You think he was a good vocalist because of the teeth?
Well, that's what a lot of people say.
That was in the
That is a
movie.
claim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
About his extra row that can.
He doesn't have an extra row of teeth. He doesn't have a shark's mouth.
No. It was 2 extra teeth. I
So
believe.
there is a new song. It's called "Face It Alone," which is it's kind of, if you know the story about Freddie Mercury, he contracts AIDS and he ends up dying alone. If you've seen the movie, you're familiar at least with that part of the story. The song is called "Face It Alone," and it was a lost track off of the 1989 Miracle album. And 33 years later, they find it, they record it. Or they record the instruments now, and then they put his voice over it. It's haunting.
Yeah.
Is it just because he's dead?
But, okay, so I think part of it is because he's dead.
It's like
for sure.
It's like he's singing from the grave.
It is.
Because the lyrics and the fact that he's been long gone.
And-
This is a new song.
And now we
unreleased.
have so much more like biographical information about him, about how many times he like went off in depression and solitude and sunk into loneliness and all of these kind of things for him to write that song. The end of the tune, if you listen to it, it's just he's like repeating this one line that the emperor's clothes are gone, right? Which kind of, I'm sure you're familiar with the parable,
the Disney movie.
No, not the Emperor's New Groove, but the fable, the Emperor's New Clothes, where like in essence what happens, to make a long story short, is this tailor comes in, the Emperor wants something new, the tailor doesn't have any ideas, and so he tells the Emperor that he's created for him this beautiful thing. The Emperor says, I can't see it, and he goes, well, it's invisible. And so the Emperor's New Clothes is basically that, like, the Emperor is walking around nude and thinks he's got on this like gorgeous, suit that this guy's described to him, but he walks up and down the streets naked and knows none the wiser because he's so vain. This idea, though, that you have to face everything on your own, that you are the one that builds your own destiny, and that at the end of the song it is the Emperor's clothes have come off, is so like haunting in the way that it's presented, because he controlled his own destiny in so much as he built the relationships and engaged in the things that made him sick, to the point where he was going to he had an incurable disease, and one that at the time they didn't know how to treat at all, which for the record, that was handled by a guy named Tony Fauci, that handled the AIDS epidemic and did
a great job.
Yep, stellar track record for that guy. But anyway, you get to this point in the song where at the end it's just incredibly sad, because it's like he's facing his death and is realizing that all of these things he did, because he created his own destiny, because he did all these things on his own, that he's having to face everything alone because of the decisions that he's made. And it's almost as though he's wondering whether or not it could have been done differently. So it's a really, it's a very haunting track. It does kind of fit the vibe of the rest of the things from that Miracle album, if you're familiar with it. So it is very sort of late 80s in the way that stylistically that they did it, even though they recorded it this year. But a very cool little piece of history. All right, Dan, let's go 3 more questions for me, the intern.
Have you ever, and do you know how to forge an ice?
Forge.
Do you know how to forge
an ice?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Forge an ice?
Yes.
Yeah, how do you forge an ice?
Yep.
Like,
what's your favorite Mel Brooks movie? And don't you dare tell me you haven't heard of Mel Brooks.
You can tell him. You can tell me you haven't heard of Mel Brooks.
give me a second.
He's like,
no, okay, he's Googling Mel Brooks right now. All right, you don't have to answer that question. Camden, now that you're driving and have jobs, what area of taxation do you find the most irritating, gas or income?
Well, I don't currently have an income, but I feel like that would be a lot worse.
Why is Batman better than Thor?
I don't think he is.
Thank you.
Good
and to you, Camden, I say Fahugwa gods. And for all y'all who are out there who have endured this episode of the Reverend and Reprobate,
really thank you for enduring all of our episodes.
Yeah, for sure. This has been a crazy season of life. We got some new interviews that we've got coming up here in the fall, which I'm really excited about. Shane Pruitt's coming on the show, which is going to be pretty cool. We may have the ladies from Tea Time Crimes back on in the coming months, as we've got a couple of really interesting things to talk to them about.
We just need to find their actual addresses so we can send them poison this time.
Not the least of which is there's a lady who...
And send them some poison to try.
There's a lady named Tanya Ryder, and they covered her on one of their episodes. She went missing for 8 days. They found her. She wrote a book called Missing. We reached out to her and her publisher. Her publisher hired a ghostwriter. The ghostwriter got back with us to tell us, you know what?
That show, Ghostwriter.
We can't find Tanya and haven't been able to for years, which just completely piqued our interest. So we'll be checking out some of that stuff, as well as some fan favorites will be coming back on the show. David Baker will be reappearing as the Forged in Fire guys have made a couple of new alliances that are pretty interesting and pretty odd. Last year it was the WWE.
And Ric Flair.
Yeah, and this year they've waded into even more interesting territory. So we'll be talking about all of that stuff. Thank y'all for watching The Reverend and the Reprobate. Y'all stay hard, keep jamming, and we'll see ya.